Hello and welcome to this week's video. It's gonna be a weird one because I'm gonna do like a trip down memory lane kind of video. I realized that this week, actually today, is my, when I'm filming this, is 15 years since I started my blog. So that's a little rude awakening for me there. The 2nd of June 2010 is when I did my first post on my blog. And I guess that has kind of led me to where I am now with my kind of makeup, beauty, social media kind of journey, I suppose. It's weird, 15 years. It feels like a whole lifetime ago that I started that. And this week is also a year since I started my YouTube channel. So I wanted to kind of do something to mark both of those anniversaries, I suppose. It's weird that it's been a year and I've just really loved making these videos. I've loved just being able to talk more fluidly about products and to do more in-depth makeup application videos. I love long form content. I've always loved long form content. YouTube is what got me into all of this in the first place. So that's why it kind of feels full circle that I am now making YouTube videos. I said that I've been making YouTube videos for a year, but the reality is I posted my first makeup or like beauty related YouTube video in 2011. I had a very, very, very short YouTube career in 2011, 2012, I think, around that time. So in June of 2011, I posted my first like YouTube review video, and I think I did 4 altogether, and then I just stopped because I just was like, this is not for me. And those videos are now on private, and they are like, I haven't watched them fully since I first posted them. So I went and watched 2 of them this morning. My plan was to kind of like do like a reaction video and to show some clips of it, and I still might, but oh my god, it's just so painful to watch. It's just incredibly cringy and embarrassing, but also it's kind of like sweet as well in a way. But no, it's so bad. I just struggled so much to get the words out to describe anything. It was just bizarre. Like, no wonder I stopped, because it really wasn't for me. I was not comfortable in front of the camera at all. I mean, I'm not really like hugely comfortable in front of the camera, but I kind of have gotten a lot more used to it than I was back then. That was my first time in front of the camera, because like we did no Instagram, we had no TikTok or Snapchat or anything like that back then. It was literally just YouTube and blogs. So I wasn't used to talking in front of a camera. I wasn't used to having to describe things verbally. It was all blogging, it was all written for me. It didn't come natural to me, let's just say. So it was really funny to watch that. And I'm just so young. Like, I was, what age would I have been then? I was 23, I think, 2011. Yeah, I think I was 23, nearly 24 in 2011, in June of 2011. So I was, yeah, young, very young. It was just so funny to watch. Basically, the first video that I did was 2 parts. Sorry, I have a pen because I was taking notes. But the first video that I posted was like part 1, and then I did a part 2 because for some reason I split it up, even though it was like they were like 10 minutes each. Maybe I couldn't upload more than that, I don't know. But it was like a 2-part favorites kind of video. If it was even that. It was so bizarre. So I thought what I would do is add in maybe some clips, some stills, and just talk about the products that I mentioned in that video. A lot of what I said I would still stand by today. So my preferences haven't changed that much, which is really kind of nice to see. Like in the first video, I'm literally wearing like 1 eyeshadow across my eyelid, and then like a really light coverage foundation and a lip balm, and like probably no blush, probably like nothing really in my eyebrows. So it's interesting to see that like not a lot has changed. Like today I'm kind of doing like a version of that makeup, but like more what I would wear now. It's weird to watch like a younger version of yourself, and I don't know, I guess part of me wanted to give her some advice because I think she needed advice. So, and not about makeup, about life. Okay, so we're going to start with the first product that I mentioned, which was the Chanel Vitalumière Aqua Foundation. A blast from the past. It's the Chanel Vitalumière Aqua, and my colour is B10, Beige Pastel. Almost all of my purchases back then, not as much now, well maybe kind of still now, but all of my purchases back then were all influenced by YouTubers that I watched or bloggers that I read. The Chanel Vitalumière Aqua Foundation, I believe it launched in 2011, but it was one of those foundations that was really popular on YouTube. And I don't know why, because everyone that I watched would have been younger than me. So I don't know how all of us were spending, like at the time it cost €38. I wrote that down. It's now €52. So I kind of expected it to be more than that, because there's another product that I will mention later on that has gotten a lot more expensive than what it was, like almost double the price. But so I didn't think that was as bad as it could have been, considering that that was 14 years ago. I believe that this foundation has since been reformulated. I think there was rumors that it was being discontinued, but I think it was actually reformulated. So it's not like fully available on some websites at the moment. It seems to be kind of just available on the Chanel website and then like a few shades in other websites. I wore the shade B10. If you have never tried the Vitalumière Aqua Foundation, it is described as a radiance revealing fluid foundation, sheer and lightweight, healthy glow, fresh, luminous. These are all the adjectives that are used to describe this foundation. So it is something that 23-year-old me loved, and it still sounds like something that I would love now. I have not used this foundation since then. I definitely finished the bottle because I probably only had one other foundation at this point. So I know I finished it. I didn't buy it again because I would say another foundation came along and got my attention, and €38 for a foundation at that point. I had just left college, I think the year before. No, it would have been 2009. I graduated from college. So I was out of college maybe like a year and a half at that point, or 2 years. And I was working part-time in retail, and I didn't have a lot of like disposable income. So it's funny to think that I spent €38 on a foundation, even though I like didn't really have the money to spend. But that was my kind of like, as I said in the video, sometimes you have to treat yourself, and I stand by that. From what I remember, it was one of those bottles that it's like a plastic package that you kind of shake up, quite fluid. And I remember it just being very easy to blend in, very sheer, very glowy, just like my kind of foundation. And it's interesting to think that my preferences really haven't changed at all. I would even say, like, from what I remember, I think that the Lisa Eldridge skin tint is a very similar idea. It has that kind of plastic packaging that you shake up with the twisty top, and a really fluid texture that's easy to blend, and then looks quite natural, quite like lightweight coverage, quite sheer. So I would say that is probably the closest thing that I have to the Chanel Vitalumière Aqua now. And I'm really curious about it. I'm like, I should try that again, but it's €52. So I have to just think, like, you know, would that really be worth it for me to try it again? From what I can see, I think there are only like 12 shades in this foundation, which is not surprising, especially for Chanel. Like, let's be honest, Chanel does not have the best reputation when it comes to inclusivity. And like, I could say so much more than that, but I won't. When I think about like how many more shades are available now in all these other foundations and base products, you would think that they would have kind of come a little bit further, but I think they're one of those brands that are kind of a little bit stuck in the past, shall I say. However, I do remember loving that foundation and being like so delighted with myself. I was like, oh, I have the Chanel foundation. I just felt like this big thing that I had bought my first Chanel foundation. I have not tried any other Chanel based products. I haven't tried, I think the only thing that I've bought from Chanel since then is a couple of lipsticks and a mascara. I don't think I've tried anything else from Chanel. So it's not a brand that I got into. It's obviously quite an expensive luxury brand, so it's not the kind of brand that you're just going to try on a whim. I do remember, I think it was Fleur de Force who used to always talk about that, and that's why I wanted to try it, because I loved her videos and I watched her videos all the time. So I think that's the reason that I bought that foundation. Part of me is curious to see what I would think about it now, because it does sound like something that I would still really like. But another part of me is like, it's Chanel. It's not really a brand that kind of resonates with me. It never really has been a brand that's resonated with me. Everything is quite expensive. You're paying for the label, as with a lot of these luxury brands. And yeah, it's not something that I'm going to go out and buy now, but I would be curious, like, just to see what I would think of it now. Obviously the shade range is abysmal, so that's like another reason to not try it. But I do really like the fact that, like I mentioned in the video, that I liked being able to see my skin through the foundation, to see my freckles and to not cover up my skin. So that is still how I feel, and that's still how I like to wear my makeup like 14 years later. So I thought that was interesting. The next product is one that is discontinued, and I am still not over this one. It is the Laura Mercier. I don't know, like 23-year-old me was obviously like very bougie because I don't know how I was able to afford Chanel foundation and Laura Mercier hand cream. So it was the Laura Mercier Creme de Pistache hand cream. There we go. It's the Laura Mercier Body and Bath Creme de Pistache hand creme. Not hand cream, hand creme. If you remember the Creme de Pistache range, they had all those, like what was it? Like they had a vanilla, amber vanilla, had like a whole range of these like gourmand scents. They had a like fragrance, hand cream, like a bath honey thing, you know, like a shower gel essentially, and then like a body lotion as well. The Creme de Pistache, pistachio scent was unbelievable. I had the hand cream, and then I remember I bought the perfume, and I bought that a few times because it was one of my favorite scents. It was just like, I mean, I love pistachio anyway, but it was this really kind of warm, creamy, just really comforting scent. I wasn't really ever too crazy about any of the other scents from Laura Mercier. I think they were all a bit too sweet for me. But the pistachio one I think was a little bit deeper and a little bit warmer. So the hand cream at the time was €19. Those hand creams, which are the same size, are now €38. So that is like, it's so hard to believe that they're like literally double the price. Yeah, so they discontinued that whole Creme de Pistache range. They have other ones that are still available now, but the pistachio one is gone. I remember when I found out that they were discontinuing it, I was devastated because I loved that perfume. I wish I had kept a bottle of it, like an almost empty bottle, so that I could still smell it. I have never found anything that has come close to it. I know that there is it the KAYALI one that's like a pistachio? I must try that actually, because I don't know if that would be similar. But I've never found anything that has been as amazing as that one. And I don't know why they got rid of it, because it was always like hard to get when I was buying it. I bought the hand cream a few times, and I know I got it as a gift a few times as well. And I bought the perfume a few times as well. Oh my God, I would give anything to smell that again. It was so nice. So if you happen to know what that smelled like, or if you know any perfumes that you think sound similar, you know, like a kind of nutty, creamy, warm scent, please do let me know, because I would love to find something that is similar that I could wear now. That was one of my favorite like treat yourself purchases. I didn't make a habit out of buying those kind of products, but that was the one of the ones that just like really got me. So yeah, I cannot believe that hand cream is now 38 €. Like, I would never pay that now. Like, I just wouldn't. But I mean, if they brought that range back, I probably would. But anyway, the next product, a little bit down kind of on the bougie scale, was the Soap and Glory hand food, and that was my drugstore kind of budget version of the Laura Mercier hand cream. That was the one that I bought more often, is this Soap and Glory hand food. I was fairly obsessed with Soap and Glory. I always had their shower gels, what was it, the body exfoliator that came in the tub. And yeah, all their stuff smelled amazing. I haven't bought anything from Soap and Glory in years, so I actually don't know if I would still like their scents. I must actually just go into Boots and try them. But I used to use that hand cream all the time because it came in a small size, so it was nice and handy to throw in your bag. That was my one that, like, when I couldn't afford the Laura Mercier one, I would buy the Soap and Glory. And to be honest, I'd probably say it's probably still good. I haven't tried it in years. So maybe that is one to buy the next time I need a hand cream, just to see what it's like. That would be interesting. It's still for sale, so I could definitely try that and see what I think. The next product is one that I still use. I have it now. I used it the other day, and it is the Sally Hansen Insta Dri for your nails. Sally Hansen Insta Dri, and this is $7.50 in Boots. I wrote down it was $7.50 at the time, and I don't think it's that much more expensive now. I think it's maybe just under a tenner or maybe around a tenner. So it's actually not that much more expensive than it was. It's basically a quick dry top coat, and I have used that product. I think that was the first time I bought it back then when I mentioned it for the first time in 2011. So I have been buying that product on and off for the past 14 years, and I still love it. I still think it's a great product. It still does the job, dries my nails quickly. What more could you want? So yeah, it's interesting to see that there are products that I mentioned in that first video that I still use today. So I thought that was funny. Next are two iconic to me products. It is the Revlon Super Lustrous lipstick in the shade Kiss Me Coral, and the Revlon matte lipstick in the shade Pink Pout, called Kiss Me Coral. So it's number $7.50, and it looks like this. It's like it's kind of like a reddy orangey colour. The other day I put this over, which is the Jemma Kid Makeup School lip gloss. It's a matte one, and it's called Pink Pout. I'm just going to put it on and show you what it looks like. They still make Kiss Me Coral. I haven't had it in years, but it was my first, like, it's called Kiss Me Coral, but it's kind of not as pink of a coral. It's more of an orange coral. It was probably my first orange red lipstick, and I loved this shade. I think Kiss Me Coral was one of the original Revlon lipsticks from like the 50s, if I remember correctly. I think they had like Kiss Me Coral, and then they had Fire and Ice, Cherries in the Snow, which I had as well. But Kiss Me Coral was that kind of really orangey red, more orange than pink of a coral. It's not really necessarily a coral, it's like an orange red. And then it was like that kind of really creamy lustrous formula, and it was a lovely summer lipstick. I do remember I wore that a lot in the summer. So that is one I would actually like to buy again, because I loved the colour, and I actually don't have as many orange red lipsticks as I did, but I remember loving that shade on myself. I must try and find a picture, and I'll try and include it of me wearing it, because I used to wear it all the time, and it was just such a nice shade and formula. Revlon was the brand that made me really love lipsticks. I think I started with Really Red, and then I bought, that was like a matte red that was kind of similar to MAC Russian Red, which I then bought after that. And then I had like Black Cherry. I had all of the like original ones, like Nude Attitude, Stormy Pink, Smoked Peach. I had all of those shades. At the time, they were like so popular in like blogging and stuff. and they just had really great shades and I loved them. So I used to always buy Revlon lipsticks. I wore them constantly. And then the other shade, Pink Pout, was a shade I had no business wearing. It was a kind of like that MAC Snob kind of shade where it was like a cool pale pink, but like not as I had MAC Cream Cup as well at one point, but it wasn't even as nice as that. It was kind of like really cool, like baby pink nearly, and it was just, and it was also a matte formula. It didn't suit me at all. So yeah, that's the one that I didn't really wear a lot. I'll try and find a photo of me wearing that, but it really didn't suit me. Like, it was very of its time, and I suppose when you look at a shade like that, it really does make you think of a certain era of makeup, so that was funny. But yeah, the Kiss Me Coral I would buy today, but Pink Pout is discontinued and I would not buy that again because it's just not my shade at all. Then the next product, I had totally forgotten about this brand and this product, and I don't even know how I had this product because I can't even think where I would have bought it, but it was the Jemma Kid lip gloss in the shade Coral. If you remember the Jemma Kid brand, what was her, it was the Light as Air foundation, and I never tried that one, but I know that was really big in YouTube and blogging. It was like one of those ones that everyone loved. That whole brand is now gone, and I just don't know where I would have got that lip gloss. I'm so intrigued as to where I bought that or how I got it, because I don't think I would have done a lot of like online shopping at that time, unless they stocked it in, maybe they stocked it in Debenhams or Boots or something like that, and I bought it there. But I don't even know where that came from. I just, like, when I showed that in the video, I was like, how did I have that? Like, I don't even remember having that lip gloss. That had totally left my brain that brand ever existed. So yeah, that was a funny one. The next product, and probably the most important one, was the Naked palette. I had heard a few things about it and I was like, I really want to try this out because I'll just tell you what it is. It's the Urban Decay Naked palette. Urban Decay Naked palette, I think it came out that year. It was €36, and that palette is now €60, or like the Naked palettes, like in general, because I think that they relaunched the Naked palette, I think was it last year, and it seems very difficult to find online. So I know it was limited edition, but you just don't seem to be able to get it anymore. And I actually saw it for, I think, 66 on one of the other websites. So yeah, the fact that was 36 and it's now 60, that is just absolutely mad. That was my first Urban Decay palette that I bought, I think. Or did I have one before that? I think I had a colourful one, the like wooden one that kind of swung open. I mentioned that with the palette you got a brush and you also got a mini primer potion, and I think I had said that I had bought the primer potion in like a double pack, and there was the original one and then there was one that was the shade Thin, which is one of the eyeshadows in the palette, and I loved that because it was like a primer and like a liquid eyeshadow in one, and it was a great shade for just like putting across your eyelid when you didn't want to do anything. But that's another product that I still use to this day. I still have the Urban Decay primer potion. It's still the one that I use all the time. I also still have some Urban Decay Naked palettes. I have Wild West, which is this one. And I also have, actually wore both of these palettes that I'm going to show you. I wore both of these palettes today. So I did a kind of like a throwback warm kind of gold eye, because in the video I was wearing the shade Half Baked, and I think I was wearing that just all over my eyes. And then this is the, what is this, the Metal Mania palette. So I wore some shades from both of those today to kind of recreate a Naked palette kind of look. So yeah, I have a kind of a half-baked type eye look on, just in homage to the Naked palette, because it was, oh my god, I mean, I used that palette so much. I mean, I still think it's a great palette. It just worked because the shades were kind of quite neutral, and there were a couple of cooler shades, like the deeper ones on the right side. And then you had like Half Baked, which is kind of like that warmer metallic shade, and then there was Sidecar, which is that really kind of sparkly taupe. So I mean, it's still, you know, it's iconic for a reason. Like, it was just the palette that everyone got because it just worked really well on so many different people. But it's mad to think that it was €36 and it's now €60. And to be honest, I don't know why they didn't just bring it back permanently, like, because I feel like people would still buy it. Although there is so much to choose from now that it's just, it doesn't seem as big of a deal. But it is still the one that I think of when I think of a neutral palette. I still think it is a great colour story. I don't know what the formula was like when it relaunched, because I know that Urban Decay have since made all of their products vegan. So their eyeshadows are definitely a different formula than they were. To me, they're very hit or miss. Like, some of them are great and then some of them just don't perform the way the original ones did. I mean, I prefer a vegan palette purely for selfish reasons because I have a carmine allergy. I know I mention that all the time, but it's something that's relevant to the makeup that I wear. So I can't have anything that has carmine in it. So I tend to stick to vegan palettes anyway. I would have been interested to see what the reiteration of that Naked palette was like, if it was as good as I remember it being. Maybe I romanticized that palette a little bit too much, but I do still think that the colour story is great, and it is something that I would wear today because it's kind of like a classic neutral eyeshadow palette. And yeah, the textures were nice, the finishes were nice, and it had a good mixture of mattes and shimmers and metallics. So I do still really think I would really like that. But yeah, it was just like funny to think that that was like one of the first Urban Decay products that I tried. And I mean, that Urban Decay was like my top brand at that time. I think from like 2010 to 2014, Urban Decay was just everything. So those are all of the products that I mentioned in those two videos. There are another two videos that have more kind of long forgotten products in them that I could talk about. If people want to see that, I can do the other two videos and chat about the products that I mentioned in those, because that might be interesting. But it is, yeah, it's weird. It's so weird to look at like a younger version of yourself and just think about everything that I have gone through in those 15-14 years and everything that the world has gone through. I'm in such a different era of my life now. Like, I had just finished college then, I was working part-time, I was like in a different relationship and living in it somewhere different. I had different friends. Like, there are people who I saw all the time back then who I literally haven't seen in 10-11 years. So it's really weird to think how much my life has changed in those like 14-15 years. And it kind of makes me a little bit scared for the future, but you know, that's life, you have to just go through it. So as you can see in that video, I have a different hair color because I actually dyed my hair. Well, I got it dyed in the hairdressers, like a copper shade in the like autumn of 2010. So my hair was a completely different color. Oh yeah, and the t-shirt that I'm wearing in the video is one that I bought in the men's section of Pennies. And I have a photo of myself wearing that t-shirt when I was pregnant. So I wore that for a good, I would say, 12 years. And I had to get rid of it because it had holes like all down in the armpits and all down the sides. But I loved that t-shirt. It was so comfortable. So funny that that is the t-shirt that I wore in my like first ever YouTube video. And I also was wearing that when I was pregnant 4 years ago. So that's a funny thing to see. I love like makeup nostalgia. I love beauty nostalgia. I love when people are talking about the products that they used to use. So I just thought that this would be like a funny video to do, to just kind of see what makeup I was wearing this time 14 years ago. I'd love to know if you have used any of these products, if you were into beauty back then, if it was something that was like on your radar. Did you watch YouTube back then? Who were your favorite YouTubers? What were your favorite products? I'd love to know. Thank you so much for watching. Leave me a little thumbs up if you liked the video. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you tried any of these products or what your favorite products were from back in the day. And yeah, I will see you next week with another video. Goodbye.